The average retired 65-year-old couple spends almost $60,000 a year. But look how much it's increased since 2012. It was just $40,000 a few years ago. And so there's expenses that many of us are not thinking about. And the key, and the one I want to talk about today, is our healthcare expenses. According to Fidelity, the average married couple at 65 years old needs to budget $330,000 or $165,000 each for costs above and beyond what Medicare is going to cover. So many of us are thinking, all I got to do is get till I'm on Medicare and then I'll be okay. Having been a financial advisor for over 20 years, I'm now retired, but that was one of the biggest mistakes that I saw people make, was dramatically underestimating how much they were going to need to spend for Medicare. So let's look at this study. So you can see the numbers. A single person can expect to pay $165,000 after taxes. So if you're taking that money out of a regular IRA, a regular 401k, you have to pay taxes on that. So you may have to take out over your lifetime after age 65, $200,000 or more to cover that. And it's a cost that's difficult to estimate. And Fidelity's #1 recommendation is to get educated. So let's do that. And to get educated, I want to go to an article that's titled Medicare Explained, a Simple Guide for Informed Medicare Decisions by Ari Parker. Ari is one of the founders of Chapter. Chapter is the sponsor of this video. More on Chapter later. But let's talk about what this article tells us here. So first, original Medicare, also called traditional Medicare, includes Part A and Part B, and around 93% of doctors across the country accept original Medicare. And original Medicare will cover 80% of your healthcare costs. So that's the good news. And you can sign up for additional coverage to manage the leftover 20% as well as prescriptions. So stick with us because that's key. Think about if you had a major medical expense. You had to go to the hospital for something. You had a stroke, a heart attack, God forbid. You get cancer. You could easily have total hospital bills, 100,000, 200,000 or more. And think about what 20% of that would be. That could easily be $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 or more. And Ari's article goes on to say, as of 2025, Part B has a standard cost of $185 a month, but high earners may have to pay more because of IRMA surcharges. Basically, if you make above a certain amount, there's a premium on the premium. Okay, I mentioned Ari, we're going to get into next about the supplement plan to help cover that 20% that original Medicare on its own won't cover. But before we do, I did mention that Ari, the author of this article, is one of the founders of Chapter, and I'm proud to partner with Chapter because they're Medicare advisors that help their clients make the right choices for them on Medicare so that you can minimize this cost. So hopefully you can keep that cost that we mentioned earlier, that Fidelity said $165,000. Let's do what we can to keep that cost as minimum as possible. And a big part of that is making the right decisions when it comes to Medicare. You can reach out to Chapter with this QR code here or the link, and this QR code will take you to a quiz on Medicare that I think you'll find super helpful. So thank you, Chapter, for sponsoring this video. Let's keep going. Let's learn about Medicare Supplement, which many of us know as Medigap. That plan sits on top of the original Medicare and helps cover the remaining 20% of costs not covered by original Medicare. But there's a big gotcha that a lot of people don't know about. Before I get to that gotcha, I do need to share, and Ari's article mentions this. If you live in Massachusetts, Minnesota, or Wisconsin, your Medicare supplement plans may offer different options for the policies. But during your Medigap open enrollment period, it's important for you to know what that is for you. You are guaranteed issue. And what that means is you cannot be denied acceptance into any Medicare supplement plan, regardless of your Medicare your medical history. Now, there's a short window where you can do this without needing that medical underwriting. You want to know what it is to get more informed. Again, reach out to Chapter. They can help you better understand what that window is, because outside of that period, you'll have to pass a medical underwriting, and you may not be accepted to the plan that you want. So Medicare is an enormously important program. Um, Over half of all Americans rely on, Medicare. I'm sorry, almost, I believe it's 94% rely on Medicare, and Social Security is another enormously important program that about half of all Americans use to fund half of their expenses or more. So getting control on your medical costs is really important. I should mention that Ari has a book. You can find it on Amazon, or you can get it for free. I'll share with you that in a site. You can get it for free here, but it's called "It's Not That Complicated." Having been in the industry for as long as I have been, I've literally read hundreds of articles, taking many courses, continuing education courses on Medicare, and Ari's book is by far the best book that I found for the general public. It keeps it, as the title says, it's not that complicated. So what do we do? The first thing is we make good decisions. Again, you can get Ari's book at this QR code here. And the way you make good decisions is you become informed. Hopefully this video helped. Hopefully Ari's book helps. And I would encourage you to invest in good advice. And that would include advice on what's likely going to be one of our biggest expenses. You can get a hold of Chapter at this QR code here and take the quiz, or at that phone number right here. You can call them directly. But it's not just the Medicare decisions. It's about making good decisions, financial decisions, and frankly, avoiding mistakes. Imagine somebody that doesn't know that Medigap might only be available to them, depending on the state they live in, for a relatively short period of time. And then they find out later, once that period of time has passed, where they can get into any plan without underwriting. And that underwriting can be pretty picky. For instance, one of the things I struggled with before retiring is borderline high blood pressure. And I understand that can be something as simple as that, can kick you out. So it's important to know, when that open enrollment period is, what you can do, because there could be some things that you might think, I'm in great physical condition, but there could be something that they say, you know what, you can't sign up for the Medigap, or it would be prohibitively expensive. And I'd hate to see that happen to you. And so we do what we can with our health. And that's what I want to share with you now is our health is as big as this is a shock, right? The $165,000 above and beyond Medicare. A lot of people aren't expecting that. And so we do what we can to stay as healthy as we can. The other shock, frankly, is taxes. A lot of people dramatically underestimate how much their taxes are going to be. So I urge you to surround yourself with good advisors. Again, I'm proud to partner with Chapter. You can reach him here. Ari's book is over here. And if you enjoyed this video, the YouTube algorithm says this is the next video, mine specifically for you, that you should watch next. Thanks for watching this one. Bye-bye.